we said it was going to be much bigger than an economic update, and it really was. I would say that that was an intensely political performance there from the Chancellor. And there's two parts of it, really. Point one is this reiteration from her that she is the Iron Chancellor. She stuck to her fiscal rules. She found billions in savings in order to stick to the fiscal rules. She said very clearly, I'm restoring the headroom. And then she outlined a series of savings. There was £6 billion from budgets across departments by the end of the Parliament, £1 billion additional in tax evasion. There were £3.4 billion in welfare cuts. And in the end, she filled the gap. So that was kind of the stuff that had been pitch-rolled and was difficult for her. But then there was this whole other section in which she really defended her position and she made the argument. She got back on the front foot and really was a moment of the lady is not for turning and actually the plan is working. And when we talked about MPs giving her a bit of space, she was saying, this is why you need to give me a bit of space. So the main sort of two things that were the upside for her was that the OBR, having halved the growth forecast for 2025, has then increased the growth forecast thereafter for each year of the Parliament. So there was that. And then she really levelled in or honed in on the planning reforms, saying that the national framework, planning framework, that the mandatory housing targets had led the OBR to increase real GDP growth in the economy by 0.2% by 2029 to 2030. She said, my policies are increasing growth by 6.8 billion. And then ping on my phone, a rabbit appeared from someone saying, this is the surprising stuff, which is having all the bad news briefed out, if you like, to try and show that her plan was working. Now, within all of that, there's so many caveats, because if you look at what actually those welfare reforms and what's happening, 3 million families could be worse off under universal credit. 800,000 people could see their PIP awards cut. The OBR has warned within, this is the OBR, I'm just going through it, I've only just started, that unprotected departments might actually need real terms cuts by 0.8%. From 2026 to 7, that tariffs could completely throw it all off course. And there's a big warning with all of it where the OBR says, headline, Chancellor restores headroom amid risky outlook, and says it's a small margin against the risk of further shocks to interest rates. And when she talked as well about household budgets rising, she said by the end of the Parliament, on average people, £500 better off. When you actually look at the OBR, it says, well, there's so many margins in this, people might be worse off before they feel better off, i.e. it's much more complicated. But you saw, I think, a chance then, we said she was resilient earlier, coming out fighting and saying, yes, it's difficult, but my plan will work.